Join me as I dig deep and challenge myself to uncover the hidden secrets in the food we eat every day. Every day we gather around the table, fork in hand, savoring the flavors and nourishment our meals provide. Yet beneath the surface of this daily ritual, there lies a profound reservoir of spiritual wisdom, quietly waiting to be discovered. When we begin to look at our meals as more than just a means to satisfy hunger, we unlock powerful lessons that can enrich our lives, foster mindfulness, and deepen our connection to ourselves, others, and the world around us. Consider first the journey of the food itself. Each ingredient on your plate has a story, a seed planted in fertile soil, nurtured by rain and sunlight, tended by patient hands. When we pause to recognize the immense web of life and labor that has brought our meal to us, gratitude naturally wells up within. This gratitude is more than just a polite gesture. It is an acknowledgement of our place in the vast tapestry of existence, a recognition that we are interconnected with the earth, with farmers, with animals, with cooks, and with the communities that sustain us. The simple act of saying thank you before a meal can become a spiritual practice, a moment to honor the abundance in our lives and to remember that nothing arrives in isolation. As you lift your first bite, notice the texture, the aroma, the taste. Savoring food in this way is an exercise in mindfulness, inviting you to be fully present in the moment. Too often we eat distractedly, scrolling through our phones, watching television, or rushing through a meal to get to the next task. But when we slow down and truly experience the act of eating, we open ourselves to a deeper awareness. Mindful eating teaches us patience, presence, and appreciation for the small, everyday miracles that sustain us. The diversity on our plates, too, offers spiritual lessons. Whether it's the vibrant colors of a salad, the rich aroma of spices, or the comforting warmth of bread fresh from the oven, every meal is a celebration of variety. This diversity reflects the richness of creation and reminds us of the beauty found in difference. Just as a balanced meal requires a range of nutrients and flavors, so too does a balanced life require openness to new experiences, ideas, and relationships. By embracing diversity in our food, we learn to embrace diversity in our communities and in ourselves. Sharing a meal is one of the oldest and most universal acts of human connection. Throughout history and across cultures, breaking bread together has symbolized peace, friendship, and unity. When we sit down to eat with others, we are invited to set aside our differences, to listen, to share stories, to foster a spirit of generosity. The table becomes a sacred space where barriers fall away and we remember our common humanity. In a world that often feels fragmented and divided, the simple act of sharing a meal can be a powerful reminder of the bonds that unite us. The way we approach food can also teach us about moderation and self-control. In a culture that often encourages overindulgence, the discipline of eating just enough, of listening to our bodies and honoring their needs, cultivates humility and respect. This practice echoes ancient wisdom traditions that encourage us to avoid excess and to find contentment in simplicity. By learning to recognize when we are truly hungry and when we are satisfied, we develop a deeper understanding of our own desires and impulses, and we foster a spirit of balance in all areas of life. Preparing a meal, whether simple or elaborate, is an act of creativity and service. The process of chopping, stirring, seasoning, and plating is an opportunity to infuse our actions with intention and care. Cooking for ourselves and for others can be a form of meditation, a way to express love, to nurture, and to give of ourselves. When we approach the kitchen with reverence, even the most mundane tasks become meaningful. Washing vegetables becomes a chance to reflect on the rain that watered them, the soil that cradled them, and the hands that harvested them. Stirring a pot of soup becomes an act of devotion, a small offering of warmth and comfort. There is also a lesson in impermanence to be found in our meals. No matter how exquisite the flavors, the experience of eating's fleeting. Each dish is savored and then gone, nourishing us for a moment before giving way to hunger once more. This cycle mirrors the rhythms of life itself, the constant flow of beginnings and endings, of birth and decay. When we accept the transience of our meals, we are reminded to cherish each moment, to release attachment, and to trust in the ongoing cycles of renewal that sustain us. For those who observe dietary restrictions, whether for religious, ethical, or health reasons, mealtime becomes an opportunity to practice discipline and intentionality. Choosing what to eat and what to abstain from can be a form of spiritual commitment, a way to align our actions with our values. Fasting, for example, is a practice found in many spiritual traditions, intended not as punishment, but as a means to cultivate clarity, humility, and compassion. Through the discipline of restraint, we are reminded that we are more than our appetites, that we have the capacity to choose with wisdom and purpose. The act of giving thanks for our food is echoed in countless cultures and faiths around the world. Blessings, prayers, and rituals before meals serve as reminders that food is not merely a commodity, but a gift. These moments of gratitude can transform the ordinary into the sacred, infusing our daily routines with meaning. Whether you whisper a quiet thank you, offer a formal prayer, or simply pause in silent appreciation, this act opens your heart to the abundance that surrounds you and invites a spirit of humility into your life. Waste, too, carries a spiritual lesson. When we are mindful of the resources that go into producing our food, we become more conscious of our own consumption and the impact we have on the world. Reducing food waste, composting, and sharing surplus with those in need are acts of stewardship, ways of honoring the earth and respecting the labor of others. By cultivating a sense of responsibility for our food, we are reminded that our choices matter, that we are caretakers of creation, and that small actions can ripple outward in profound ways. Eating seasonally and locally can deepen our connection to the natural world. When we align our diets with the rhythms of the earth, enjoying strawberries in spring, tomatoes in summer, squash in autumn, and hardy greens in winter, we become attuned to the cycles of growth and rest that shape all life. This practice invites us to embrace change, to celebrate the gifts of each season, and to honor the wisdom of the land. It reminds us that we, too, are part of nature, subject to its rhythms and dependent on its generosity. The role of hospitality in sharing food cannot be overstated. Inviting others to our table or accepting an invitation is an act of trust and openness. It is a way of saying, you are welcome here, you belong. This spirit of hospitality extends beyond our homes to our communities, encouraging us to reach out to those who are lonely, hungry, or marginalized. In sharing what we have, we participate in the ancient tradition of welcoming the stranger, of turning strangers into friends, and of building bridges across divides. Food has the power to evoke memories, to connect us with our ancestors, and to celebrate our heritage. The recipes we inherit and pass down are more than just instructions. They are stories, woven with love and tradition. Preparing and sharing these foods can be an act of remembrance, a way to honor those who came before us and to keep their spirits alive in our hearts. In this way, mealtime becomes a bridge between past and present, a thread that ties us to our roots and to the unfolding story of our lives. Finally, let us not forget the joy that food can bring. The pleasure of a well-cooked meal, the laughter shared around the table, the delight of trying something new. All of these experiences are gifts to be cherished. Joy is a spiritual practice in its own right, reminding us that life is meant to be savored, not merely endured. By embracing the joy of eating, we affirm the goodness of creation and the abundance that is available to us. In every meal, there are opportunities for reflection, gratitude, connection, and growth. By approaching our food with intention and awareness, we transform an ordinary activity into a profound spiritual practice. Each bite becomes a prayer, each meal a meditation, and each gathering an invitation to deeper love and understanding. So the next time you sit down to eat, take a moment to pause. Notice the colors, the smells, the textures. Remember the hands that prepared it, the earth that nourished it, and the communities that made it possible. Savor each bite, not just with your senses, but with your heart. In doing so, you may find that your meals are not just nourishing your body, but feeding your soul as well.